I'm so excited about today because today we're going to be talking about 7 ways for you to become more creative. Now, I don't know about you, but I have been in a place where a lot of times, like when you are creative, like myself, I deem myself to be a creative. I feel like creativity is at the core of who I am and who God kind of created me to be. And I think that a lot of us, a lot of times we discredit our own levels of creativity and we'll say things like, oh, I'm really not that creative. But understand, just because you may not be creative in the fact that you can paint, draw, create things from quote unquote scratch, and you may be great at administration. And you may say, well, I'm not creative, but understand that it takes a very creative person to jump into an unorganized situation and make it organized. It takes a very creative person to do administration. And so please do not discredit yourself because your creativity does not look like anybody else. And so I want to give 7 points. This is going to be quick. It's going to be concise, but I want to give 7 things that can help you as it pertains to you enhancing your level of creativity. And so, because I am a creative, I wanted to help you with this. And so, first point, before we get into the points, let me give you this: is that creativity is a valuable skill that can be nurtured and developed with time and effort. Here are some steps that can take you to the next level as far as your creativity. So, point number 1. I want you to cultivate curiosity. I want you to cultivate curiosity. Okay. That's point number 1. Cultivate curiosity. Being curious about the world around you and ask questions. Curiosity is the spark that ignites the creative process. Whenever we find ourselves to be curious about anything, it sparks creativity. And so if you're curious about, I draw, so I'm an artist. I paint. I painted this wall, but it's one of those things that if you're curious about how something works or how you can do it, just try it. I think a lot of times we overthink, where we get this concept of analysis paralysis. You guys have heard me talk about it before, that we overanalyze everything to where we find ourselves doing absolutely nothing. So get out of analysis paralysis. Stop overthinking it. Again, let me pause right here. Stop overthinking it. Okay. Please. All right. And let's just dive in and feed that curiosity. Okay. Number 2, get outside of your comfort zone. Please get outside of your comfort zone. Try new experiences, meet new people, expose yourself to different cultures, and also different perspectives. Okay. This will help you break out of your familiar ways of thinking and develop new perspectives. Whenever we push ourselves outside of our comfort zone, we'll find that there are so many other things that we didn't even know about ourselves or the way that we think. I do not like to be around everybody that thinks like me. This is just me personally. I don't like it. I don't like to be around people that think exactly like me. I like to be around people that challenge, not challenge my way of thinking, but give me a different perspective of how I am to look at it. One of my brothers, I don't call him a friend, I call him a brother. One of my brothers, Sean Sonye, man, is a great guy. And a part of that is what Sean does is that he challenges my way of thinking. He gives me a different perspective on how I am to look at it. A lot of times when things arise, I'd be like, man, this is the worst thing ever. And my world is crumbling. And he'd be like, man, listen. And he gives me a different perspective. So whenever you want to be creative, you need to be around people that challenge your way of thinking and get outside of your comfort zone. Number three, embrace mistakes. Embrace mistakes. All right. Embrace failure as an opportunity to learn and grow rather than being discouraged by it. Creative people often see mistakes as opportunities to try new approaches. You have to change the way that you look at mistakes. You have to change the way that you look at failure. And also, let me say this, especially for my super saved people, where we are all the time talking about, God, please forgive me for my mistake. God, I want to receive your forgiveness as it pertains to a mistake. Understand that as you are being creative and as you are trying, Hear me when I say that. As you are trying, that you don't throw yourself into a space of, like if it didn't work out, that you throw yourself into a space of shame or condemnation. If it didn't work and you tried it, guess what? Try something different. Use it as an opportunity for you to try again. Embrace mistakes and also embrace bad decisions. Ooh, that's all under point number 3. Embrace bad decisions. Okay. Like sometimes you're going to make bad decisions, even in your creativity, where you looking at different colors or you think about putting on the wall. You may make a bad decision about, hey, that wasn't a mistake. I made a decision to try a color. I made a decision to attempt, and it didn't turn out the way that I wanted to. I have to embrace that. Okay. Number 4, surround yourself with creativity. Surround yourself with creativity. Seek out the company of creative people and engage in creative activities. Surrounding yourself with creativity can be a great source of inspiration. I want you to surround yourself with creativity. Here's what I want you to understand, that people see as they are, not all the time as it is. People see as they are, not all the time as it is. And what do I mean by that? Like if a photographer walks into a space, a photographer sees opportunity for photography. If a chef walks into a house, Kenny, he was my chef. He was my first personal chef. Man, like Kenny is the man when it comes to that cooking. Man, he's amazing. And I love Kenny. I love his wife, Victoria. They have my god kids and I just love them. That's my family, right? When Kenny looks at a house, the first thing he looks at is the kitchen, because he looks at it. This is where I'm going to be creative. This is where I'm going to be working. And so he sees as he is. He's a chef, so he sees as a chef sees. He's a photographer as well. He sees as a photographer sees. And a lot of times when we see certain things, or if there's a lack of creativity that we see, is because there's something probably internally in us that we need to get back to that creative element or to that creative space. Surround yourself in creative spaces with creative people. If you find yourself that you're negative a lot, you're probably around negative people a lot. So you're going to see it as you are, not always as it is. We see the negative in people a lot of times, not because they're negative and not because they're bad people. A lot of times we see it in them because it's something that's sparking it in us that now is being made manifest that we see in them. Okay. So I want you to surround yourself with creativity. Okay. Number 5, take breaks. Take breaks. Okay. I want you taking breaks and engaging in non-work related activities can help recharge your batteries and provide you with new ideas and inspiration. I know we're in a culture of grind culture. Grind it out, fix it, work, do the most. I get it. I've been privy to that too. And I've been guilty of that from how I've continued to try to work, overwork, try to make stuff happen. And then this is what happens for a lot of us. We try so hard that we make it fail. So you have to get into a habit of taking breaks and also creating strong boundaries with those breaks if you're going to maximize the time in which that you're called to be creative. Okay. Number 6, keep a journal. Keeping a journal can help you capture and reflect on your ideas. Regularly reviewing your journal can also help you see patterns and connections that you may have missed before. I'm telling you to keep a journal because understand this, a dull pencil beats a sharp mind any day. How many times have we told ourselves like, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember that. And you don't remember that. So I'm challenging you with the concept of let's write it down. Let's jot it down. Let's take some notes and let's do what needs to be done on the front end. So on the back end, that great idea that you had, you're not searching through your mental thoughts again. Like, man, what triggered that thought? That was a great idea, but I can't remember it all. Okay. So keep a journal. This helps you with your creativity. And lastly, last part right here. All right. Last point is practice regularly. Okay. Creativity is a muscle that can be developed through regular practice. Set aside time each day to engage in creative activities and keep refining your skill. Understand that you don't gain muscles by going to the gym once. You don't learn how to shoot basketball by going to the gym and, shooting basketball one time. You don't become a great actor by going to acting class one time. You don't become a great director by directing or trying to direct one film and then just because it didn't work. You have to practice that. And you have to continue to exercise that as much as you possibly can. So your creativity is actually a muscle. And so I want you to get into a habit of practicing it, going after it, and challenging yourself as it pertains to your level of creativity, okay? Remember, creativity is a personal journey, and what works for one person may not work for another. Experiment with different approaches. Experiment with different approaches until you find what works best for you. Experiment with different approaches until you find what works best for you. You're seeing me look down because I'm literally now writing out my scripts of what I want you to get to maximize the time that we have together. So understand that even in creativity, like a lot of times I'll be going right off the dome and ideas and thoughts are coming to me. But even with creativity, where I told you a dull pencil beats a sharp mind any day, that's what I'm practicing. So if you're watching this, you may see me look down and I'm looking at my phone. If you're listening to this on our podcast platform, you're not going to see me look down, but you're going to hear, different inflections in my tone because maybe I'm reading at that point. Because in my creative process, what I'm finding is that it's great for me to write out a skeleton and then refer back to my skeleton and then allow the teaching to put the meat on the bone. Find out what works best for you as I'm finding out what works best for me to get you this content. I hope that this has helped. Don't forget to tap in with Pariah. Y'all see the I Don't Fit In hat. All right. So don't forget to tap into Pariah. Don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms. If you're listening to this, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. If you're watching this and somebody sent this to you and it's helping with your creativity, if you like this content, please make sure you like, subscribe, and also hit that bell. So, when I post a video, you'll get notified. All right. I can't wait to keep doing these with you. We're rolling out new content. And I believe that God has something in store for us in the level of our creativity. And I'm going to say this last thing, man. Whenever there is an absence of finance, there should be an increase in your creativity and your innovation. Whenever money is not present, I believe it's God's way to say, what are you going to do with what you have? Because it's easy to be creative when you can pay people to be creative. It's easy to be innovative when you can pay people to be innovative for you. But what happens when you don't have the resources and you still need to show up? This is where innovation comes in, and this is where creativity comes in. So yes, you are creative, and yes, you probably just need some tips to help you become more creative. So I hope this helps, and I can't wait to talk with you guys soon. And make sure you subscribe to this page and this channel and all that other good stuff. All right. I see you guys on Instagram. I see you guys on YouTube. I see you guys, wherever. All right. But just remember, God is doing more than what you think he is, and you're doing better than what you think you are. Again, God is doing more than what you think he is, and you're doing better than what you think you are. Have a great day.